Joined here with James Lutman, the promoter of Macto. Your debut show has garnered a lot of attention lately. How have the ticket sales gone for the event, and have they met expectations?
Ticket sales have gone well. We've had a few big ticket sellers pull out over the last couple of weeks, unfortunately through injury, which is part of the nature of the sport, unfortunately. But ticket sales should still be good, and we're still expecting quite a few footfall through the door because obviously a lot of the advertising were done in the local area. So it's hard to know what to expect as it's show one in this area, but it's building from this onwards and upwards, and hopefully come show 2, show 3 we'll be looking at sell-out crowds.
We saw Timmy Thomas weigh in earlier. Is that a last-minute fight that's been added to the card?
Yeah, unfortunately, the original opponent for Taylor Thomas was Bradley Marshall, but unfortunately, I believe there was an injury sustained last night. However, I don't know the full extent of the details, unfortunately, but yeah, that's much. But yeah, Timmy Thomas has stepped in at last minute for us, which is great.
And Fionn Davis' original opponent, Jean Francois, she pulled out 3 days before the fight, I believe, and you got a new opponent. How did that come about, getting this new opponent in?
Yeah, firstly, unfortunately, Francois, she had to pull out. She broke her nose in sparring, which again, the nature of the sport happens a lot, which is, it's an unfortunate event, but this happens. So yeah, we had to pretty much do a nationwide search, which came up with no trumps. So we moved abroad, and we managed to find a Hungarian girl, Frishina Nagy, who's stepped in last minute, which again is great, expands our horizons, gets some other foreign competitors in, which, it's just opening up borders everywhere. So, we're the international show now, I suppose, which is good.
Is Milton Keynes going to be the home of Macto, or are you looking to expand into other areas at all?
Certainly for the time being, it's going to be home. We'd like to build a base, build a fan base, build a following, and everything else, and then we'll move on from there. I never say we won't move out of the area, it all depends on the growth of the promotion, but it's good to have, I think, a sustainable base, learn your market, learn your area. It's quite central in the country, which is great for fighters and fans alike, and it's a really great town. There's so much to do, so there's something for everybody. So I don't think at the moment, I would say we're going to stay here until we build ourselves up to a point where we could move.
The setup is right behind us. It looks phenomenal. Have you weighed up your finances? Is there a chance you're going to make a loss out of this show?
It's hard to say at the moment because obviously, the show doesn't. Although the show itself finishes tomorrow night, the revenue won't potentially. We're filming it live, we're cutting and editing it live, and there's the very likely potential we'll be able to sell those TV rights on, both domestically and abroad. So although tomorrow night we may make a small loss on show 1, but as you mentioned, we've put a lot of money into production. Obviously, those of you that are coming down will see we're talking pyros, stages, 50-foot TV screens. There's a lot gone into this. So we're not, like I said in the original interviews, we're not cutting any corners, we're not skipping anything. Everything we've got is going into this, and we only want to build show on show. So watch for big things in the future as well. So there may be a small loss this time potentially, but obviously, like I say, the revenue doesn't necessarily stop tomorrow night, so it's hard to say.
You've got a great couple of fights at the top of the card. The winners of those fights, can we see them fighting for the belts, for Macto belts in the future?
100% titles is something we're going to look to introduce along the way. Show 1, we didn't want to start with titles because you're putting people at the top of the pile straight away, which, don't get me wrong, their records and reputations speak for themselves. However, we're still very much under the opinion that you earn a title shot, and obviously you can't earn one on show 1. So there will be titles introduced along the way, 100%, and obviously some of the guys at the top of that bill you'd like to think will definitely be there when we do, so yeah.
Main eventer Nick Shipshak said in a recent interview that people will be talking about Macto next year as if it's Cage Warriors. How do you plan to fill those boots?
Big boots to fill, and obviously I don't want to compare ourselves to any other promotions just yet. We aim to compete at the top. We aim to compete with the other top UK, European and international promotions. That is where we want to place ourselves in the market. We're not there yet, and we're not arrogant enough to say we'll be there just because we're putting a lot of effort into show one. But it's a philosophy we've got, and it's something we're aiming for moving forwards, that we do want to compete at the top. We want the top fighters from around the world saying, I want to be on Macto. Their managers should be calling us begging, get him on Macto. That is where we want to be. So, yeah, to compete with where Cage Warriors was, potentially in the future. But I'm not going to start comparing us to other shows just yet, because I think it would be a bit naive of me to jump in so early. But I hope so. I really hope so. And I think we can. I believe we can. So,
Well, thank you for your time.
No worries. Thank you very much.